Namaste, welcome everyone to Satsang today. Very good. I'm looking a little bit here and I'm wondering if this is healthy for your neck. Because I notice people more have been brought forward, and you're okay like that? Okay. Very good. Okay. Dear Mooji, when I am a person, there are the stories with the fears and sufferings. When I can go back to the space of my being, fears disappeared with the stories, but not forever. So I have a doubt. Maybe I am running away from my fears and not allowing myself to experience what I need to. Karuna. It is from you? Which Karuna? Ah, okay. When I am a person, there are stories with the fears and suffering. When I can move back to the space of my being, fears disappear. Along with the stories they go. But not forever. Not forever. What is forever, you see? Not forever. Everything come and go. The fears disappeared for a while. When the attention is placed again inside the awareness itself, then it sounds a bit echoey to me. Is it echoing for you? Or it's fine? Can you hear? Everybody? Yeah, okay. Okay. When I'm in the position of awareness, the story is not there. The fears are not there. But not forever, you see. So therefore, I have a doubt, he said. Maybe I am running away from my fears, not allowing myself to experience what I need to. Okay? You can say there is some relationship that has created this relationship out of which fear is such an important... You want to come? Mancham. So, either with this fear, you can look at it. You cannot always be running away. First turning away, then running away. Then at a certain point, you cannot run away from these fears. They keep coming back, you say. They come back. The stories come back. Meaning, what? The person has come back? What?
Yeah, with stories. With stories and with fears. And there are like two conditions. Like I'm a space of my being, and there is one like a person.
Yes.
And I feeling that I'm like in the trap, because like two stages. And
you will feel more in the trap the more you're giving attention to the story and identifying with the one who is in trap. This is one way. I'm going to come back to that for a moment. My first encouragement is to stay in the position of awareness in which even the very attractive sense of the one who is in the trap, a lot of energy is going into that identity. And so the feelings are very powerful, very strong. The fear is flowing in your veins even. So it feels totally real. It doesn't feel like it's just imagined.
Sorry, maybe I need a translation because I'm not sure that I understand you correctly.
Okay, some Russian. Rishi's coming. Rishi's running also, but not from fear. He's running for love. He's running to quickly get rid of the fear. Okay, so my point is, with the fearful identity, the person, the sense of the person who is the one suffering the fear, not the awareness itself.
Не осознанность, а та личность, которая боится, наша личность, идентичность.
You understand?
Ты понимаешь?
Russian.
Русский.
You are aware of the identity,
Ты
the sense of the
осознаешь
person,
личность, осознаешь ощущение личности
and the fears of the person also.
и также страхи личности.
They come and go.
Они приходят и уходят.
Especially you notice this when you are staying as the awareness itself.
Особенно ты замечаешь это тогда, когда ты остаешься как сама осознанность,
As you have already said here.
как ты здесь уже и сказал.
The doubts and the stories, the fears and the stories, they come back again.
Сомнения, истории и страхи, они возвращаются.
Когда я возвращаюсь, отдаю пространство, то есть страхам, позволяю им быть, то иногда я сам становлюсь этим пространством, и тогда все это просто исчезает.
When I go back into this space of beingness,
Yeah.
and I fully experience the fears, and those fears disappear.
Иногда происходит такое, и тогда нет ничего, то есть нет никаких проблем.
When this happens, there is nothing,
Yes,
and there
yeah.
are no problems.
Yes, I understand this. This is very clear for me.
Я понимаю, это, для меня это очень ясно.
Но вопрос, не является ли это состояние как бы побегом? Почему? Потому что
It's the question is whether this state is an escape.
потому что опять это все возвращается.
Because
и
all of this comes back later on.
Everything is coming and going.
Все приходит и уходит.
Yes. Everything is coming and going.
Все приходит и
This is
уходит.
noticed by your own self.
Ты замечаешь это
coming
замечает
and going.
твое истинное я.
Then thought comes,
Затем приходит мысль.
is this just running away from my responsibility
Мысль приходит, не убегаю ли я от своей ответственности?
to face my fears, you see?
Для того, чтобы, ответственности за то, чтобы смотреть лицо страху.
If
глаза.
you purchase this thought,
Если ты покупаешься на эту мысль,
then you have to find remedy for this thought now.
затем тебе нужно искать средства, чтобы излечиться от этой мысли.
To go into some analysis, why is this happening, and so
Нужно
and so.
заниматься тогда анализом, почему это происходит, и так далее, и тому подобное.
Some of this is okay,
В некотором роде какая-то часть этого нормальна.
up to a point.
До какого-то момента.
This sober introspection is very good,
Такое трезвое созерцание, оно хорошо.
but it must help you to come out of it
Но
completely
оно должно помочь тебе выйти из этого полностью
and not become stuck
и не застрять в этом,
in a relationship with your own fears and projections.
не застрять в отношениях со своими собственными страхами и проекциями.
But before we go to that place,
Но до того, как мы пойдем туда, в это место,
I would rather encourage you to stay in the place of just the awareness
я бы призвал тебя просто быть, оставаться вместе в пространстве осознанности.
Don't pick up this thought too early,
Не подбирай, не хватай эту мысль слишком рано, не хватайся за нее.
that perhaps I'm running away from something.
Не начинай думать слишком рано, может быть, я избегаю чего-то.
Don't bother with that for now.
Сейчас пока об этом не переживай, не беспокойся.
Each time the fears and the stories return,
Каждый раз, когда возвращаются истории и страхи,
are you able to stay in the place of the awareness?
можешь ли ты остаться вместе в пространстве осознанности?
and pay attention to the awareness
и обращать внимание на осознанность,
rather than the stories coming up in it.
вместо того, чтобы обращать внимание на то, какие истории возникают.
This would be my question to you.
Вот это мой вопрос для тебя.
Because if you can,
Потому что если ты можешь,
and pay more attention to the awareness,
больше обращай внимание на осознанность,
which is like the space in which all these movements are taking place.
которая является пространством, в котором происходят все эти движения.
The movements of thought and emotion
Движения мыслей, эмоций,
are impermanent,
они не постоянны,
transient,
они приходящие.
against the force of the awareness itself.
Происходят они на фоне силы самой осознанности.
So if you hold your ground as the undivided observer,
Поэтому если ты стоишь в месте неразделенного наблюдателя,
so rather than going into any analysis,
вместо того, чтобы приступить к какому-то анализу,
you're able to stay only as the awareness,
ты просто остаешься просто как сама осознанность.
and you'll be able to confirm,
И тогда сможешь подтвердить,
to experience,
пережить на опыте,
to know
знать,
that these are all fleeting phenomena.
что все это всего лишь приходящие и уходящие явления.
And your ground as awareness remains firm and unchanging.
И твоя основа осознанности остается твердой и неизменной.
And each time the thoughts and the sensations, the fears come back,
И каждый раз, когда мысли, когда ощущения, чувства приходят, возвращаются,
they're appearing in the same space,
они появляются в том же пространстве.
you take the same position,
Ты принимаешь ту же самую позицию.
then they will be weakening.
Тогда все это будет ослабевать.
They will lose their strength.
Все эти вещи будут терять силу.
And the force of awareness
И сила осознанности,
manifesting as peace,
которая проявляется как мир, покой,
as silence and stillness,
как тишина, как недвижимость, безмолвие,
that force will prevail.
эта сила, она возьмет верх.
You'll wear down those fear. You will frustrate them.
Ты измотаешь эти страхи, они не зайдут на нет.
Because they need identity,
Потому что для них необходима личность,
interest,
необходим интерес
and belief
и необходима вера
in order to expand and to
для того,
grow.
чтобы расширяться и расти.
So first I would try that.
Поэтому прежде всего я бы попробовал именно это.
Gradually, with some practice,
Постепенно, с практикой,
it becomes easier and easier for you.
станет тебе это все легче и легче.
A deep confidence
Приходит глубокая уверенность.
is present with you,
Она находится в тебе.
that anything can come,
Все может прийти,
because it can only appear in the awareness itself,
потому что все возникает только в самой осознанности.
that you are there first.
Ты там прежде всего.
You observe their comings and goings.
Ты наблюдаешь за тем, как это все приходит и уходит.
Therefore, you are the greater force.
Поэтому ты более великая сила, ты сильнее.
All this confirmation come
Все эти подтверждения приходят
automatically
автоматически.
when you identify and be one with the awareness
Когда
itself.
ты отождествляешься и становишься единым с осознанностью.
If you purchase the thought,
Если ты купишься на мысль,
oh, this is too difficult,
это слишком сложно,
and maybe I'm running away from my fears
или,
and
может быть, я убегаю от своих страхов, избегаю их,
not allowing myself to experience what I need to,
и не позволяю себе пережить то, что мне необходимо пережить,
then I have to give you another advice,
тогда мне нужно будет дать тебе другой совет,
which is
Который-
somehow to allow the fears to happen,
Он заключается в том, чтобы ты позволил этим страхам произойти,
resisting the reflex to find distractions for them,
и как бы сопротивлялся этому рефлексу отвлекаться от страхов,
or to try and control or to suppress them.
и не пытался контролировать или подавлять эти страхи.
Allow them fully to open up,
Позволим полностью раскрыться,
but as much as possible, don't identify.
но насколько это только возможно, не отождествляйся.
Try and be neutral.
Попытайся быть нейтральным,
so that you're able only to observe.
так, чтобы ты только мог наблюдать.
You may also ask,
Ты также можешь спросить,
what is the message in the fear?
какая весть в этом страхе, какое там сообщение для меня, в чем суть его?
In many cases, it's already clear what the fear is about.
Во многих случаях уже понятно, в чем заключается страх.
But in some cases,
Но в некоторых случаях
there is just the energy of fear,
есть просто энергия страха,
no story.
никакой истории.
You must discern which is there.
Тебе необходимо различать, что там.
Then, when you see the fear is the fear of rejection. Say, for
Например,
instance.
когда ты видишь какой-то страх, и, скажем, это страх того, что ты боишься быть отвергнутым, например,
Let this fear be present in you,
пусть этот страх присутствует с тобой,
but don't immediately identify with it.
но не отождествляйся с ним немедленно.
Feel the burn and the bite of the fear.
Прочувствуй его жжение и прочувствуй его укус этого страха.
Feel the natural feeling of wanting to escape from it also.
Также прочувствуй естественное ощущение, естественное чувство желания убежать от этого страха,
But don't identify.
но не отождествляйся.
Now you may find the question come, who is suffering
Но
this fear?
затем ты можешь обнаружить, когда возникает вопрос, кто страдает от этого страха.
With this question,
С этим вопросом
you will try to identify
ты попытаешься отождествиться,
the actual one who is suffering.
ты попытаешься, вернее, определить того, кто на самом деле страдает.
You have the smell and the taste of suffering in your body and being.
У тебя будет и запах, и вкус страха, страдания в твоем существе.
Now try and go and identify the sufferer itself.
А теперь попытайся обнаружить того, кто страдает.
You must be very focused for this.
Нужно быть очень сконцентрированным, сфокусированным на этом.
Sometimes in the pulsation of the fear,
Иногда, когда вот бьется страх, пульсирует,
it takes up so much space
он занимает так много пространства,
that at a certain point you cannot investigate.
что в какой-то момент ты уже и исследовать больше не можешь.
You can only be,
Ты только можешь быть.
but at a certain point
Но в какой-то момент
you find out who is the sufferer of this.
ты обнаруживаешь, кто страдает от этого.
See if you can identify.
Посмотри, можешь ли ты определить, обнаружить,
Is it tangible?
возможно ли его ощутить, потрогать,
Because something naturally feels it's me. I am
потому
the one
что,
suffering.
потому что что-то ощущает, да, естественно, это я.
You may even say, but this is a strange question to ask,
Ты даже можешь сказать, какой странный вопрос, зачем им задаваться,
because it is obviously myself.
потому что естественно, совершенно очевидно, что это я.
But still, I would ask you, but actually identify that self.
Но, тем не менее, я попрошу тебя, на самом деле, найди, обнаружь этого.
Accept my question in your heart,
Прими мой вопрос в своем сердце.
because only an identity can suffer a problem.
Потому что только личность может страдать от проблемы.
And if there is identity,
И если есть личность,
it implies an I entity.
подразумевает, что есть некая сущность, называемая «я».
So see if you can locate and identify
Поэтому посмотри, можешь ли ты обнаружить, найти,
this tangible sufferer.
определить этого ощутимого страдальца.
So this interned attention,
Поэтому это внимание, обращенное внутрь,
scanning inwardly to find who actually suffers,
когда ты сканируешь, ищешь внутри, кто на самом деле страдает,
this by itself
это само по себе
is burning all illusions.
выжигает все иллюзии.
You will discover
Ты обнаружишь,
there is no sufferer.
нет никакого страдальца.
I'm helping you a lot here to say that,
Я помогаю тебе, конечно, говорю за тебя эти слова,
because if we have some time, I would be here listening to you say that.
потому что если бы у нас было время, я бы послушал, как ты произносил эти вещи, говорил эти вещи.
that all that remains
что все, что остается,
is a sense of suffering,
это остается ощущение страдания.
but the actual sufferer cannot be found.
Но самого страдальца, того, кто страдает, найти невозможно.
And there's a dropping away of that tension.
И тогда это напряжение спадает.
That also is observed in you.
Это также наблюдаемо в тебе.
It's possible to go through all of this
Это возможно через все это пройти
without identifying.
без отождествления.
Maybe you have to listen to this type of guidance again and again.
Может быть, тебе необходимо послушать подобного рода наставления, руководства вновь и вновь.
And follow it step by step again.
И проследить за ним шаг за шагом.
Because some fears
Потому что некоторые страхи
are so deeply rooted
настолько имеют глубокие корни,
that they will seem to prevent you
как кажется, они предотвращают, не дают тебе погрузиться глубже
into your own being.
в свое собственное существо.
I say seem to,
Я говорю, как кажется,
because there is going to come a time,
потому что придет время,
and I hope very soon,
и я надеюсь, это произойдет очень скоро,
when you come to discover
когда ты обнаружишь,
that all of this
что все это
is illusion.
Все это иллюзия.
I can't just tell you it is illusion,
Я не могу тебе просто сказать, это иллюзия,
because you just accept that as a teaching,
потому что ты примешь это как некое наставление и учение,
rather than your own direct experience.
а не твой прямой непосредственный опыт переживания.
As you sit here,
Когда ты сидишь здесь,
in this pool,
в этом
this energy
поле,
field of satsang,
в этом энергетическом поле сатсанга,
your energies are stabilizing by themselves.
твои энергии сами по себе стабилизируются, уравновешиваются.
Don't be up in the attic.
Не будь здесь на чердаке.
Simply stay present and open.
Просто оставайся присутствующим и открытым.
Don't force anything.
Не пытайся чего-то сделать, привнести с силой.
And gradually this will become more clear for you.
И постепенно это прояснится для тебя.
As your attention moves back into your natural power.
По мере того, как твое внимание возвращается к твоей естественной силе.
Когда это происходит спонтанно.
When this happens, it happens spontaneously.
Даже я вспоминаю эти истории, они вызывают только улыбку.
And when I recollect the stories, I only smile at them.
И часто это происходит спонтанно, независимо от моих усилий каких-то.
And a lot of times it happens spontaneously with no effort on
What
my
happens spontaneously?
Что происходит спонтанно?
Распознавание своей природы, своего пространства.
The discernment of my true nature of the space.
Okay.
И
Gradually,
постепенно
you stop doing so much work on yourself.
Ты перестанешь так много работать над собой.
As you are discovering more and more,
По мере того, как ты будешь больше и больше обнаруживать
the obviousness of your being,
очевидность своего бытия,
the obviousness to itself,
очевидность самому себе,
the phenomenal play of emotion and thought
вся эта феноменальная игра мыслей, эмоций,
will not have such power.
она не будет наделена такой силой.
They won't register in your consciousness.
В твоем сознании это просто не будет регистрироваться. Ты не будешь на это обращать внимание.
It is only, they don't have power in themselves.
Сами по себе в этих вещах силы нет.
They have the power which you impart to them
В них есть та сила, которую ты даешь им,
because you are distracted from your own self.
потому что ты отвлечен от своего истинного «я».
No thought has that power by itself.
Ни у одной мысли нет силы у самой по себе.
It lives on phantom power.
Она живет просто на фантомной силе.
It has to take power from you.
Ей необходимо черпать силу у тебя.
It's a relationship.
Это отношение.
No thought is self-employed.
Ни одна мысль не является как бы самой себе работодателем.
It's you who employ them.
Ты даешь им работу.
Find out who you are.
Обнаружь, кто ты.
All this is for that.
И все это, все, что здесь происходит для этого.
And it must becoming clearer and clearer each day
И это должно становиться яснее и яснее день ото дня.
until the old illusion and delusion
До тех пор, пока старые иллюзии и заблуждения
is exposed.
не проявятся на свет.
When you see through an illusion,
Когда ты видишь насквозь иллюзию,
immediately it loses power.
немедленно она теряет всю свою силу.
At a certain point,
А в какой-то момент
your mind, consciousness
твой ум, твое сознание
becomes no longer a growing field for thoughts and
перестает быть питательной средой для мыслей,
particularly psychological thought,
особенно для психологических мыслей,
psychological identity.
для психологической личности.
Yeah. The mind will become barren,
Ум станет пустым, как пустыня выжженная.
for supporting this type of
Он
thinking.
станет бесплодным для поддержки подобного рода мышления.
You will come to see.
Ты все это обнаружишь, ты увидишь.
While we are here together, it has to happen like that.
Это не должно произойти здесь, пока мы здесь все вместе.
Things are only as powerful
Все вещи настолько сильны, насколько
as the importance you give to them.
мы придаем им важность и значение.
But because we are brought up in a culture,
Но поскольку мы воспитаны в культуре
or
определенной,
rather our minds are so cultured,
или, вернее сказать, наши умы настолько окультурены, воспитаны так,
to respect or venerate thought,
что мы преклоняемся и уважаем мысли.
so proportionately we suffer them.
Поэтому пропорционально этому мы страдаем.
To the liberated mind,
Для освобожденного ума
there is no fear of thought.
нет никакого страха мысли.
But to the personal mind,
Но для личностного ума,
mind soaked in identity,
для ума, который впитал в себя идентичность, личность, погружен в ней,
mind can become a minefield.
ум может стать настоящим минным полем.
There must be an evolution
Должна быть некая эволюция
or change
или изменение
from person to presence.
от личности к присутствию.
If you live only in the mode of a person,
Если только ты живешь в режиме личности,
life will be very
жизнь
turbulent.
становится очень турбулентной, тебя
Often.
раскачивает.
As you move into presence,
Когда ты возвращаешься в присутствие,
in personal presence,
в личное присутствие,
there's more space in your being.
открывается в твоем бытии, в твоем существе больше пространства.
There's no residential concept.
Не существует никакой концепции, что что-то там живет, имеет право на жизнь там.
There's no fear of concepts.
Нет никакого страха концепций.
You're living in the fullness of your being.
Ты живешь в полноте своего бытия.
And these stories have no place
И в этих историях, этим историям нет никакого места,
apart from pleasure.
кроме того, что они просто приносят некое удовольствие.
Or to use them as examples
Или можно использовать их как пример
to help in clarifying the mind of other beings.
для того, чтобы помочь прояснить умы других существ.
You will not relish in any personal story,
Ты не будешь смаковать никакие личностные истории,
but you will not be afraid of them.
но ты не будешь и бояться их.
The stories keep coming back
Истории возвращаются,
because you offer them a stage
потому что ты предлагаешь им сцену,
to play.
на которой они могут разыгрывать свою игру.
There's no big deal about it.
На самом деле нет ничего в этом такого особенного.
Nobody's story is so interesting anyway.
В любом случае, ничьи истории не настолько уж интересны.
To a sage,
Для мудреца
no one is special
никто не является чем-то особенным, специальным,
or interesting.
и никто не является каким-то интересным.
They don't look at you that way.
Они не смотрят на тебя таким образом.
They see you only as the self
Они видят только «я»
and wonder why don't you.
и удивляются, почему ты этого не видишь.
But they don't really wonder, really.
На самом деле они ничему не удивляются, и этому тоже.
Something? You want to say something more?
Ты хочешь еще что-то сказать?
Okay.
Хорошо,
Thank you.
спасибо.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste.
I was contemplating on this. This is a quote you said. The mind cannot intimidate the pure self.
Yeah.
It can only intimidate the idea we have about ourselves.
Yes.
This feeling of coming in and going out, the attention is swinging in and going out.
Yes.
And when it is inside, there is no thought about anything else. It is just pure observation.
Yes.
I'm just observing as the observer and not as the person. And there is no person. And when the attention swings out, there is this drama of life. And I'm inside the drama. I'm not as the observer. And there was this feeling. I watched many of your satsang videos, and there was this part of me which was very much excited to meet you. And there is this other part of me yesterday, when I came here and sat, this part was very much hiding. This part was hiding and it wanted to just sit in the corner. And I just wanted to expose this part out.
Very
I
good.
wanted to export this out
Very
today.
good.
That's why I'm standing here and talking with you.
It's very good. Because I myself also remember many years ago sitting in the satsang very much like this at the feet of Papaji. Well, not so close to the feet actually. Sometimes you go in satsang, you find someone with a broad shoulder, you sit behind a bit. Because something is afraid that he might look at you and then you're in trouble or something. No? Something hiding, a feeling of hiding. And yet, not totally you're hiding, because you're here also. So there is this duality. There is some sense of, I hope he doesn't pick on me. But you are benefiting from listening to other people, listening, and then every now and again you peep out a bit. And I still see some people do that. So I remember like that. And then you come and you say, I want to expose this. I'm not in partnership with this anymore. It may continue, this feeling, but now being exposed, it's much more like an item being observed more. More distance will come with that. Just like that. You see. This awareness, the concept of awareness, which also arises in awareness, by the way. Don't think, because sometimes the mind also is talking about awareness as though it is a phenomenon that I am approaching. But the very thinking mind, thinking about awareness, itself is appearing in awareness. You are that awareness itself. It is the most natural thing. But because we are so accustomed to using the mind, it is our tape measure. We go around the world measuring things. It's the instrument for interpreting or measuring change or something, assessing movement. But it cannot do this with awareness. It is itself. It is itself just the character in the book. Just like we gave the example that, can you imagine some characters inside the book discussing amongst themselves secretly, so the author doesn't know about it, what the next chapter should look like. All those thoughts would be the author's thoughts, appearing to be the individual player's thoughts. Mind is like that. It is going to become as obvious as this example I've made for you, that the only power it has is because it is invested with so much importance and with identity. And to that extent, we've become a bit blind to our own seeing. It's almost like you're seeing your own blindness, and you're saying, I'm blind, but you're seeing that blindness. Isn't it funny? You see? So the mind has been given tremendous importance. It is, the mind says this, and the mind says that, and the mind says that. Well, who is saying the mind says this, even? Who is saying, the mind is saying this, and my mind is doing that? What is the status of that one who is reporting about the troublesome mind? It is a mixture of being and conditioning and identity, which is arising as the seeker who has some powers also to observe and is troubled by the mind. The same one you started mentioning when you say, I said that somehow the pure self cannot be intimidated by the psychological mind. It is only the idea we have of who we are that is struggling with our own projections and our own concepts. So in effect, the idea we have of who we are is suffering from other ideas it has about itself. Watched in the awareness we are. And still we go, and the very is watched in the awareness itself. But awareness is not a watcher. Even to say the awareness is observing, it's not observing. Observing happens casually in the presence of the awareness itself. I cannot say that it is deliberately observing. For what reason? Spontaneously, all activities are perceived without effort. But we have the idea that effort is needed to observe, which is, then we believe this concept into reality. And all of this, in the light of your own satsang, is becoming increasingly clear for you, and then you're going to be saying, that is. That will be the expression of your eureka moments. Because again, it is recognizing the obvious. It's a strange thing to say, missing the obvious. Because you think if it's obvious, you wouldn't miss it. But we are coming to see, actually, I had the idea, I was missing it. This is the power of thought. Not just thought by themselves, but thought believed in, thought identified with. Then somehow they flourish. They take on a magnitude, a power, and a potency that you impart from them. This is how powerful you are as consciousness.
Mooji, when attention is here, there is just stillness and observing of everything. And when the attention goes out, basically with the identity and the personality, I see when it's in here, there is stillness, and when it's in here for a long time, it's my body, it starts sweating and it feels like feverish and it will become lazy-ish, kind of. But I feel that's okay. But when it goes out, mind is, it's somehow doing some monkey business, and it's trying to buy some time.
Yes.
It wants to keep the attention over there, on this side.
Okay. I want to open up a bit more space for you about that. That attention is also phenomenal. Meaning that attention is one of our most powerful powers, basically. Because wherever attention goes, we are registering this as experience. So it is so intimate, we refer to attention even as I. I go, I went, something, the attention and body. But something observes attention also. There's a space subtler than attention in which the movement of attention, the activities or inactivity, the restlessness of attention is also reportable, observable. Pay attention to that. Just as we are speaking now. We're speaking about attention. Sometimes my attention goes out. Oh, isn't it watched then, obviously? The attention is going out. When it comes here, I feel very happy. And when it goes out, you see it's up to monkey business. When it's come in, it's into monk's business. Monk's business, go out, monkey business. Okay? And something observes both extremes, and is not in the bubble of any of that. It's independent of the interned attention and the outgoing attention even. Acknowledge this. Take a few breaths in that. Begin to confirm, contemplate. Let your mind acknowledge and stabilize itself in that understanding. Confirm that. That even attention is moving. What are you doing? Nothing as awareness. The sound is coming. What are you doing in order to perceive it? Nothing. This is the marvelousness of the consciousness. The temperature, you are aware of it. What are you doing to? Are you taking out your thermometer to measure the temperature of your being? Something is aware. It's sufficient. Like that. So again, we speak about attention, and many times we speak, oh, put the attention here. And myself, I also will say sometimes, bring your attention to the place of awareness. And immediately, like this. What did you do? Nothing sweaty. You're not tired for doing that. Somehow, something just brings here, and you're here. And you see that, don't pay attention, don't be writing the story of the moving mind. Let it be there. Don't mind about the mind. Stay as the awareness. Don't police the mind. Don't be a traffic warden in your own head. No, let it go. But you stay as the awareness, and you're going to discover something very powerful in yourself. That if you are in self-focus, everything slows down for you. The blood pressure of the world slows down. I'm talking like this because I'm using my own. My doctor is telling me these things. Huh? When you bring your attention to the awareness itself, pay attention to that, be one with that, somehow the jumping mind becomes more distant for you. It doesn't have that magnetism. All that we are speaking now, you can confirm now. I'm not giving you homework about it. This is the directness and the immediacy of observation and the powers of consciousness. Otherwise, you may continue saying, how can I keep my attention always here? I said, you know what? You're here. Let the attention go then. Attention go where you want, but I'm staying here. And see what will happen. Let's do it. Say to the attention, go where you want to go then. See if you can survive without me. I will stay here, you go. And see if it works. What happened? Will the attention say, you coming or what? So like this, gradually your inner environment, your being remains silent, spacious. Not lazy. It's not laziness. Sometimes a thought comes, now you're being very lazy and so on. Don't buy this. Don't purchase any thought. Just you stay put like that. If something is of value to the beingness, then it will supply the energy to fulfill that need.
As you said, don't buy that thought or purchase that thought. But this thought is not coming from inside, but the environment around me is putting this thought to me. You're becoming lazy, you're becoming lazy.
Yes, yes. You have to be stronger than that environment. Because you see the fruits of bending your knees to mere judgments that come from outside. And those judgments are only empowered by your own adding to them, your own respect for that, which sometimes you put above your own direct experience. You follow? Sometimes we give too much importance to something which in your heart you know, but this is true for me. But you're giving more importance to something someone else says because you think I should satisfy their projection or something like that. You see? And then if you don't, then you feel like you're being a rebel. Or, he's very disrespectful to family or something like this. So all this, don't become too entangled in that. It's not that you have got to put up a fight like this. You can try as much as you can to say to those who you need to explain something to them that, I am well within myself. And I know it does not seem like what you probably expect me to do, but I'm happy here and I have to follow my own dharma. No disrespect to you, like this. You can explain. Still, maybe you don't succeed. Some people, no. You'll find your way. But don't compromise upon your heart's truth. As much as possible, don't do it. Because you'll only end up regretting and being resentful. Suffocated. You see? If you have to be a rebel like this, then so be it. If you can transcend your own mind in your hometown, amongst your own people, and the people who think they know you, sometimes more than you know yourself, if you can hold to your truth here, then the whole universe belongs to you. You can go anywhere. If you can only be true away from home, you better go home and check it out.
Yeah, Mooji, I find this little bit challenging to be the self in my hometown, because everybody is coming and intimidating, and they think that the person I was 10 years ago is the same person now, and they're coming and talking to me in the same way, and they want me to fit in their projections, kind of like this, and it's a bit of a challenge.
Yourself, you have to somehow trust. Trust also in your own experience, in the authority of your own seeing. Trust that first. You see? Understand that people who are not attracted to the path of insight, some people, they don't want to go too far into that. They're quite content for the moment with their own judgments, their own projections. But you, something has called you to a deeper exploration. You are discovering that. In fact, you would think that we would invest in people like this who bring more light to our life. But no, it's not like that. So, if you trust in your own journey of seeing, be with that. Try respectfully to relate to those who are open enough to have meaningful exchange with you. Not that it becomes your mission. You're not going out to do that. Just as you go, sweep as you go. Like I say, don't buy extensions for your broom, but sweep as you go, somehow. You don't intend, oh, I'm coming here to bring all of this to my own town. No, don't. Just you be yourself. And if there is authenticity in you, naturally, spontaneously, you'll meet those who are brought by consciousness, arranged by consciousness to meet. It will happen like that. And little by little bit, those who were scoffing, they will start, maybe there is something. But whether they come or they don't come, that won't matter to you deeply. It's not in your hands. Just you be yourself. Very organic thing. Not take up any mission. Now I want to enlighten the world. No. Just you be the light yourself. But don't think even that you are the light. Just you be content in that beautiful place. Somebody's going to come one day and says, why are you so happy? I say, well, I don't know. No, I want to find out. Something they will come. They will want to know. They will want to know. Something will be drawn beyond their own upbringing, beyond their own cultured limitations. People will be drawn. Wherever there's a human being who is empty of stuffiness, empty of projections, empty of past, empty of future, empty of thought, empty of self, sentient beings will come to you. If not human beings, animals will come to you. Something will come to you. Because it is the only true attractive power in the world.
Mooji, I want to expose one more thing. My mind is trying to intimidate this one part of me, which is very proud.
Very proud.
Yeah, very proud that me, as the seeker, as a personality, is seeking the path of truth.
Yeah.
This part is very proud, and I just want to expose this.
Yeah. Yes. It's so good. You feel that sense of some pride or something like this, and you gradually turn away from that. Ignore it. It's nothing. Keep ignoring it. Mind has lots of tricks. As I said, the ways of the mind are ancient, but you are timeless. The ways of mind are ancient, but you are timeless. You can be without the psychological mind, but it cannot be without you. It has no support. You as the pure consciousness is the support of all the manifest world you perceive and live in. We don't know that yet. Sounds like a big thing to say, but it's actually quite simple, because it's one whole. Another thing I've said, if you do what is right inside your own heart, it will not turn out to be wrong for someone else. If you do what is right inside your own heart, it will not turn out to be wrong for someone else, because the truth is not partial. It benefits all. If you pay attention to the little picture, to the ouchies and oh, ow, and yes, you'll think, oh my God, what? No, but if you stay in the stillness of your own self, you'll see that it benefits the greater space. They will come. Maybe in hindsight, people will come and say, wow, that was a real big bite I had from you. But my life changed because of that. And I'm sorry I gave you such a hard time. Some children, they're saying that to their parents, Mom, I'm sorry I gave you such a hard time. I couldn't help it. I knew I was doing wrong, but I could not help it. You see, thank you for being so patient with me, some people, on hindsight. Thank you for punishing me also, because I was asking for it. And I kept getting more and more bad because you didn't punish me, and I know I should be punished for that. Sometimes people say that thing, sometimes they don't. Whatever the scenario. Don't pay attention to too many of these things. What the parents think, what the society think, how it is outside there, what is inside, when things come in and it goes out. Stay as the self. Stay as the self. It's not a prison. When I say stay as the self, it can seem to the mind like it's a restriction. Why does he keep saying stay as a self? Why doesn't he put, an arrow in my hand or something? Why doesn't he show me some tool and say, stay as the self? Why? Because it brings you back to your infiniteness. Your eyes remain panoramic in their seeing. The world does not feel claustrophobic because you see from here, it is just a play of light. You come to see this increasingly, increased joy in you, because the identity makes a lot of fuss about nothing. Oh, this thing is happening and this is actually nothing is happening, unless and until the mind says something is happening. Experientially, nothing is happening. What constitutes an event? What is an event? It is very, very subjective. What your mind sees and says, oh, this thing happened today and then this thing happened. We may be walking as a group of 5, 10 people, and each one has a different report what happened today. So it's very subjective. For one who is still, nothing to report. Nothing to report. practically. Nothing is so exciting. He said, but then what is the food? What is the light? Then what makes life interesting for such a one? So, well, what interesting? Harmonious, peaceful, content, wise. All this is there for you. And the natural joy of being. Why are we searching so much outwardly for pleasure or for joy? Because you have not found the joy of being, which you inherently are. This is your discovering. And this has been the report of people who have sat, allowed that listening to take place, to follow that pointing, and to confirm for themselves, but this is so. I'm just here. Actions, reactions, interactions are taking place naturally, spontaneously, in the presence of your own being. You are the witness of them, but not necessarily an energetic witness, not a deliberate witness. You're not watching a movie of life and monitoring what's going on. You're not a secretary to yourself, writing down. Somehow, in that coolness of your own light, everything is taking place, but nothing is registering tightly, oh, this thing really happened. And even if you say this thing, it doesn't leave any footprints inside the consciousness deeply. This is healthy mind. This is the state of healthy mind. Like this, it may be that outwardly, you have many things you have to do outwardly. As I said yesterday, if you take the example of somebody who is juggling, inside, they have to be still. If inside you're all juggled up, you cannot juggle, you're confused. So you can do many things seemingly outwardly, you're all this. But inside there is a stillness. Same thing. In the life, you may be do this thing, but nothing is overwhelming for you because inwardly you're in that beautiful state of neutrality, of harmony, of peace. You're not saying this with words, simply you are that. You may be breaking stones for a living. Inside you are in total serenity, total solitude. Such a one is the Buddha itself. Your life is not determined or defined by the activities of your body or even thought. Independent of that, more subtle, in that effortless place, because only that can be called truly natural for you, which itself is effortless. It's not trying to be itself. It is. Can you find this in yourself? That which just is. It has no image, has no history, it has no ambition, has no future, has no past. Has no responsibility in that way. No obligation, not in that way, like that. All its expressions arise out of love. And everything that love is expressed to is its own self, appearing as the many, as the diverse. How do you know this? Sometimes the most profound knowing is not taught. It's only discovered. It's revealed. I say to you only this: be in that place. Discover this place. Do your yoga, do your meditations, do whatever you want to do. You see everything is taking place in the presence of that. Enjoy. Does it mean that life becomes a bed of roses or something? Maybe with a few thorns, yeah, it can be there. It can be whatever. I'm not telling you how to get a nice, comfortable life, sweet, and no, it will be whatever. But it will not impact upon that consciousness in any way that creates distortion or suffering for you. Will there be pain? Yes. Pain is part of life. But suffering, no. Suffering is more about attitude than actuality.
Mooji, there was this sense of deepening.
Of deepening.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am. This happened twice, and both the times mind somehow managed to get me out of this deepening.
To get you?
Out of this deepening, sense of feeling deepening, sinking into myself.
Yes.
I felt so peaceful and so sinking into myself.
Yes.
But somehow mind managed to take me out of this
Yes.
stage.
The only know this, that you do not have one single natural enemy in the universe apart from your own thinking. You have to transcend the influence of your own thinking. That is what is transcendence. There's a smell of burning in here, of some, I know, some electrical thing maybe. And you have to overcome the influence of your own psychological thinking like that. You see? Let's look at this picture. That there is only the pure. You're that unmixed consciousness, pure being. In order for all this play of diversity and experiencing variety, it's as though an aspect of itself descends into identity. It needs a body, because without the body, the consciousness cannot taste experiencing. But somehow it seems inevitable that in doing this, the consciousness will get identified with the body and believe, I am the body. As soon as this is happening, or simultaneously, it seems mind, who is also consciousness. Consciousness descends into the aspect of mind. The play of duality then is working together when consciousness expresses in the mode of being a person. It also comes in the mode of being the mind, the psychological mind, and those two will play as both advocate and adversary, as both friend and enemy. This relationship will be there. The consciousness must transcend the projections of the mind. It must discern when mind is truthful and when it is not. And through that tension, that relationship, it will grow. It is as though the consciousness creates the sense of a problem in order to experience transcending it. Can I say again? It's as though consciousness devises or creates the sense of a problem in order to have the experience of transcending it. Maybe this is what is life. Has to be that tension, it has to be that friction. That even after the realization of the self, there's some tension, some bouts of identification, so that perhaps that tension keeps aspiration going. It's like a guitar when all the strings are slack, you cannot play any music. There has to be some tension so you can get that twang again. Maybe there has to be this twang. If you understand this, then you'll be fine with things. Because you'll see that even that twanging and everything is only known through the awareness. Awareness is primary. It is the original. Everything is acquired, secondary. It sprouts later, subsequent to awareness.
Mooji, there is no problem, but only thing is mind is just buying time.
From
That's the only
From
thing.
whom is it buying time?
It's
If I buy something, I might find a seller, no? I'm going to buy time. From whom is it buying time? Or maybe it is selling time. Maybe the mind is selling time. Hello, Mr. Consciousness, you want a bit of time? Yeah. Because mind is time and change. Maybe mind is selling time.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You can say it also is buying time. It wants time. It creates distractions so that it can live on, have more time, you may say. So the more time mind has, the less time you are in, the more time you are engaged in, the more distraction you are from your own self. Therefore, paying attention to the self arrests the mind. All this, I want to tell you something, that all of this is not that, for the rest of my life I'm going to have to be watching the mind. And not at all. At some point, it becomes increasingly easy anyway. As you continue to recognize your true position as awareness, because like a reflex, you come to awareness, any problem? No. Any problem likely? Impossible. You're speaking like that. Can it fade? Never. Are you happy? I don't know. More than that. Yeah. And when the mind come back, no problem. Okay? You talk like that for a while. Tomorrow morning, Mooji, am I? So, we want to see what happened. What happened? Because people speak like that, everything is so perfect, and then, I asked like that. And I said, we could make a big book called And Then. So, what is your and then moment? We will want to know. I think the whole world wants to know what is the and then moment. Everything was perfect. I was in the Jesus consciousness, man. And then, let's go to and then, to the point of and then. What and then what happened? Let's break it down second by second, frame by frame, and look at what happened, because it seemed a catastrophe must have happened, because you were so, nothing can touch me, invincible. And we have to find out what is that. And then is mind itself.
Now I come to see Mooji, it's now and then. This is the thing which got me out of deepening.
Yes.
feeling
This
of
is
I
also
am.
a thought. This is, wait, I understand. Energetically, some change happened with that. Of course, I cannot deny that at some point there was a clear space of being, real joy, like, this is enough for me. I can stay like this. Even if this is not enlightenment, I'm okay with this. Okay? And then, bang, crash. Okay? I cannot deny that there is a phenomenon that takes place like this, and beings are asking, how can I stabilize the and now and don't go to the and then? Please help me, you see? And I'm pointing you, is there an and then for awareness? For whom is the moment and then? Is it for the pure awareness or something else? Then you must clarify now. Stay as the awareness and watch and then. Who will do it? Somebody will do it. And then. And now? Did and then transmute into and now? And now what? And now and then is still going on.
It's continuous.
All this is thought-based activity, watched in the field of awareness itself. This is not a teaching. We have to be in this together, looking together, checking in, confirming. It has to resonate. There has to be a synchronicity of that understanding in you. Not thought. Teaching, learning, thought. Experience. Direct understanding, confirmed, verified. You say, for the moment you speak like that, yes, the mind came and stole my light. The mind came and stole my light. What is the root of mind? What is the root? Are you coming from two different sources? You, as the seeker, and your mind. Are you coming from two different sources? Can you find out? Why should mind be such an adversary? It's trying to kill you. But ultimately, both of you shrink down to the same thing. Because mind in its natural state is the self. The seeker in his natural state is the self. Can a tree that bears poisonous fruit poison itself? Can a poisonous snake die from its own bite? I don't know. The question's coming. Can a poisonous snake die from his own bite? Somebody must tell me this thing. If the root of mind and the root of your own self is the same, can the mind kill you? These are mysteries, paradoxes, mysteries for the human mind. We have to work it out. I point you to pure awareness, beyond quality, beyond quality. Can you confirm, you see? Are you established there? And who are you? Is there you and awareness, or is it one? Somebody please tell me, but not theoretically. Someone please show me. Also, there is mind, but don't have a mind. You may still say, yes, my mind, and so on. But one time, this will become a reflection for you itself. My mind. Copyrighted. My own brand. My own brand of mind tells me this. Your brand is a bit different. You have a peaceful brand. I have a terrorist brand. I terrorize myself. Don't worry about all these things. If you are able to stay, as I say, stay as the awareness. Can I just have a show of hands? When I say stay as awareness, does that speak to you? Does that somehow do you understand in your heart when I say stay as awareness? Who understands it? Very good. The power of your understanding will spread through everybody here, energetically, to say stay as the awareness itself. Because when we say stay, usually we stay as this mixture of presence and person. Presence and person. There are some who only know the sense of person. Like, I'm just a person. So what are you talking about? So if I say, but the person you can observe, I said, what is he talking about? Okay, what you talking about? They can't understand. So spirituality, if it means anything, is that it enables you to somehow come to a subtler place within yourself so that even the sense of your person or personality is observable. Meaning that you sense that this is the activity of what you would call personality or ego or mind. That there's space behind where there's observing of that. As you become more clear that the personality and its stories and its idiosyncrasies and fears are all phenomenal to this seer, the seeing place, that they all appear in front of, so therefore I can talk about it. When that becomes clear, naturally you're moving into the realm of presence. Presence is a higher state of consciousness than person. It means you can listen, but you're not purchasing. You can understand. Activities are taking place, but you don't define yourself by activity. You're aware always that you're in the position more of a witness than as a tangible participant. That the body is moving and doing things, but that doesn't mean you are doing things. This is the state of presence. The difference between sadhaka and mumukshu or something. Meaning, the one who is more deeply inside the understanding. Then it comes to another point, which I don't know how much I can talk about that right now, where the presence itself, because many people in spiritual practice are aspiring to get to or to stabilize in the state of presence, meaning that the life is more intuitive, more spontaneous, more peaceful, naturally. That witnessing of the manifest functioning of the mind and the body and the world is taking place in you. You're aware of that. You enjoy all the diverse manifestation through its unique texture and taste and everything, but you are not really attached to anything. More subtle than this comes a point where the sense of presence itself is perceived. Somebody says, yes, but even the presence itself is perceived. Now, who are you who can say presence also is perceived? Presence also is arising in a greater field now. When you're in the position to observe presence, you're in the state of the unborn. the undying. There are no concepts there. Where is there? Some distant place? No. Here. Here. Everything is here. You're in your subtlest place. Have you dismissed presence? No. It is there also. But now presence also becomes in time. Person is definitely time. Then presence also is in time. Then you cannot speak about this thing. Still you can speak with all the beings in different ways. I did this yesterday, it's time, so on, so on, so. But this language is more superficial to you. Your powers have changed or deepened. You cannot be known through data. You're not data-based. Beings, they perceive you, those who are sensitive enough, and energetically, your radiance inspire, alters, heals, unifies, harmonizes the world itself, in fact. Beings don't have to know that. This is the power of the self. Yourself. Not personally. The personal you must transcend. Not to say, oh, you have to kill. No, not kill, but you transcend, meaning you transcend that domain of influence. You come into subtler and subtler space within your own potential. Into that space which is distanceless, indivisible, unchanging. When that is confirmed in you, you lose all fear which is due to the changeful. You can move in the realm of the changeful. And all your actions benefit the totality, is in service to the totality, not to the person. The nature of the ego, it is self-centered, but in a selfish way. The nature of the liberated one is also self-centered, but not a psychological self-centering. He's properly centered in the self, meaning not self-centered in psychological sense, you see?
Thank you, Mooji.
Thank you.
Can I come there and touch your feet?
Come, come. Boom. One moment. You come first, after you can come. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mooji.
Very great.
Thank you, Mooji.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you, Mooji, thank you for your appreciation and for your love and for your sharing in this. It's a very enjoyable experience. I apologize again. I have Parkinson's disease and it affects my speech a little bit, so I'll do the best I can. I very much had a strong feeling about what you said earlier, because when I came here, my family and most of my friends actually kind of said, you're crazy, this is a silly thing for you to do. But I felt very strongly that it was something that I had to do, and it was very important to me. And so that was why I came here. And so I feel very good about being here, even though it might not sound very good. But But I have a question, and I hope it's not an inappropriate question, but it has to do with the way that everything is structured. Everything happens in the form of cause and effect, and there's a cause to everything, and that cause is awareness itself, and awareness is the one cause of everything in the universe, and so if awareness is the cause of everything in the universe, that would include God, because God is part of the universe, and so awareness creates God, and so if awareness creates God, then where does God fit? Where does God fit into this scheme of things? Because
why is not God awareness also?
Well, God is awareness, but God is not the totality of awareness. God is a part of awareness.
How do you know that?
Because awareness comes first. Awareness is the foundation. It's the basis. And
what you call awareness, I can call God also.
Perhaps you could. Yeah.
I don't see any difference.
Okay. So then I was just what I was sort of wondering about was how to become more sort of heartfelt in my life.
How to become more?
How to become more heartfelt.
Sorry, how to become more what?
Heartfelt.
Heartfelt.
Sorry. And
how to become more heartfelt.
And not be so intellectual. I know that it's a process that you have to go through. I understand that. So, but I'm just trying to find.
Your mind has to become a little bit like throwing the mind in the acid bath, a sulfuric acid bath of pure satsang, and it's fizzing. So all your concepts are fizzing away. Everything fizz away until you know nothing at all. Nothing at all. Who are you? Where do you come from? Where are you going? But you are totally happy in this. No. Who are you? Where did you study? What is your philosophy about life? I have seen people, very learned people, who have really entered into their own heart like that. What do you think about so and so? Now, when you have a mind, that's going to very much irritate you. When you have a mind that's itching for knowledge, want knowledge. So, what do you feel about the way the world is going at the moment? And someone is like this. That's going to irritate you. It's like, come on, I know you have a degree. You must have something to say about the world. So the mind will say, well, you're a hopeless case. What contribution can you, who seem to have no opinions, what contribution are you making to life? Are we open for that? Even. Knowing but not knowing. Doing but not doing. Living but not living. And there's no one inside doing but not doing. There's nobody there in that way. There's no personal strategist who is living life and being so excellent, they are Buddha strategists. No, there's no such thing. Just a clear light of being. When a thing needs to happen, it comes out of this spontaneously. Do you know this? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? To the point where there's trust. Not a trust that life will fulfill my projections, not that type of trust. But you may say a trust that all things seem to happen from this place of seeing. And if I can just take a minute to talk about that, from this place of seeing, from the purer place of seeing, unidentified place of seeing, one witnesses in the same plane of existence a harmony that another one who is mind-centered cannot see. You follow? Those who are very mind-centered, who is continuously projecting upon the world, opinions and interpretations, are not able to see. They're not able to see that this is a magnificent existence. They're not able to see that. They're not able to see that life cares for life. They're not able to see that. They're not able to see that we are one. Not able to see that. Because that mind has become so polluted with concepts, constipated with concepts, and still amassing more concepts. You see? And in the same marketplace of existence, there is one who sees, and who is, and moves in the harmony of being, who expresses a gratitude for existence even, exudes joy and goodwill and wisdom. In a way, we have to get out of our own way. How are you going to do it? Not get out of your own linear way, that you're in front of something, you have to go there. But get out of the way of coming into your own subtlety, your own insight, which is your true sight. Like that. Sometimes we have studied too much in a way, but this is also expression of consciousness also. Everything is that. But at a certain point, you may feel, I am not sure if I really know this thing, or just believe I know this thing. I'm not sure if this is my experience, or just my thought. Then if you've come to that state, it's perhaps good to put your books down for a while. Find someone who can guide you to discover here, not concepts. Maybe you have to leave the realm of concepts altogether. And this is the most simple way to point you back to your innate awareness, in whose presence the mobile world, the fluid world of manifestation and diversity appears. But itself does not suffer, neither can it suffer from its manifestations. You have to know that thing. Then many questions which seem to have potency, they fall away. Because this is the evidence itself of wisdom, that you are not able to discern the power of your own questions, or what are the important questions to ask in order to swiftly discover the truth. For the moment, we are speaking like this because, again, I'm just covering the sort of ground terrain of concepts again. So we are talking like this. Many of you who have been, we have been together for some time, you know that there are times when we are in deep questioning and the questions have a sort of a power in them, and we are just washing, full power. And it's much more energetic. Now, we're just clarifying again, maybe some concepts which we have embraced as though they're absolutes, to then now see that there's a lot more space in them, that there are more potential than there are actualities in that. And to discover and be yourself is not as difficult as your mind interprets it to be. You are already the self. This is the great news. You are already, there's no millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometers to go. There's no distance to cover, because yourself is somewhere else. It is more a distance created by thought. It's more a question of subtlety, of perception and understanding. Everything that needs to be discovered is here. Out there is the testing ground of your inner realization. It will confirm whether you are fooling yourself or not. But the ground of the understanding must take place here.
I feel like I understand what you say, but I realize that it doesn't seem like I understand what you're saying. But I would like as an example, the point that you made about transcending and about letting go, I'm clear about, and I appreciate it, and I really enjoy it. But for some reason, it doesn't seem to translate into my words and language.
Yes. Yes. You understand what he says, that he appreciates the words that I speak about transcending and so on, and letting go. But in his own experience, you cannot confirm that is really translated into my direct experience as yet, isn't it, like that?
I'm sorry if I'm sort of slowing things down.
No, you're not doing any such thing. You have to be authentic in your own approach. That is good enough for me. You see, you say, as many people will say, I understand these things intellectually, but I don't feel I have confirmed that in my own experience. It's not yet into the cells of my being yet. It's still in my ears. The pill is still on my tongue. I'm not able to swallow this yet, nor feel the effect of it or something.
I do, when I'm not up here talking, when I'm listening, I certainly enjoy the points.
Yeah.
I feel like I get a lot out of them.
Yes.
And so,
is it not? Can we match the listening with the speaking? Can it not be that while listening or speaking, is not the awareness even? Be there. You say, as some people do, I'm fine if I'm just by myself and I can be there.
yes.
But when I'm in the company, I'm not able to be there. This is a thought.
Yes.
This is a thought. A thought that has been well believed in, you see. When I'm here, I'm fine. When I'm there, I'm not fine. What it means? That There's a belief in that. Be in the place of awareness and see if you can say the same thing. Stay only as awareness. So inside is awareness. Outside is awareness itself. What is the position of that which is able to perceive inside and outside? Where's the location of that?
It's located here.
Huh?
It's located here.
It's looking at here.
I'm sorry, it's located here.
Yes,
It's
yes,
located here.
yes. Be that, be there. You see, the more we come into the full understanding, the easier everything's coming. Finally, it cannot even be said to be easy, natural. While we are still somehow carrying the mind's energy, that dualistic energy, and it still has a lot of charge in it, then somehow the movement is jerky. Something is like, yeah, I got it, oh, I missed this, I got this, and so on. But constantly I'm bringing your attention, but stay only as the awareness. But sometimes there's disbelief in the mind, saying, well, but that's too easy. You know, that's just too naive. He's giving you a very naive instruction. He should be giving you something more scientific. It just sounds, just stay as awareness. It sounds so passive. Stay as the awareness. What does it mean, stay as the awareness? What does it mean, stay as awareness? Why he keeps saying stay as awareness? Why not some spiritual gymnastics or something? Why stay as awareness? Then stay as awareness. Watch all your own noise arguing between themselves. Your own noise is arguing inside itself. What should I do? I need to do this. Maybe I should more do this. I get better effects when I do mantra japa. I do this and I do, you know. And all of this is taking place in an awareness which is not participating in the bubble of that thinking. Have I gone too far speaking like this? Ultimately, all this has to be simple. At the root of all investigations, truthfully, it has to return to simplicity. The true evolution of the psychological mind and identity is an evolution into emptiness itself. It must come back. You're sitting here, paying attention. Some response internally is taking place. Involuntarily, it's taking place. Inwardly, there has to be more space, more than confusion. It's confusion, it's all here. If it's confusion, you're still being too faithful to your mindset. If you are simply present, even though energetically you'll be feeling more space inside, less calculation inside, less counting, less comparing, but more a field of being. Is this the case? Is this the case? Am I speaking to a group of dummies or something? I don't know. I'm asking. Is this the case that somehow there's more the field of being? Field of being. Not a portfolio of knowledge. The true knowledge is removing the dross of stale knowledge. Stale knowledge means the knowledge that keeps you stuck into the realm of concepts. This knowledge will not serve you. If you speak of true knowledge, it must be more energetically a kind of knowingness, a sensing and a sensitivity, more than a rigid content of something. You're getting used to reacquiring the taste for your own self. Strange though it may sound, this is what is happening. Reacquainting your mind to being empty and discovering, because only when it is empty you are discovering the completeness and the harmony of your own being. Discovering again your intuitiveness, spontaneity. Coming back into spontaneous existence, more than continuously forecasting, projecting, prescribing, opinionating, and so on. This is the life that generates openness, love, understanding, empathy, compassion, unity, this life. This is the true yoga of life, you can say like that. The mind is afraid of emptiness. It even creates a monster emptiness, which is like a desperate state. But the true emptiness is when you are no thing, you're not merely an object. When you search through the question, who am I? The I doesn't land on a solid thing, no solid objects, but more a sort of inner spaciousness, an intelligence, a sense of being and presence. But it is not a person. The person may arise in it as a kind of flavor, a unique flavor, a taste. You may call it a person. But it is not the ruling deity of the being. Just the costume of being.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I don't know why when I come up here, I feel guilty about being up here. I find that very uncomfortable. I feel that people are saying, "Oh, this is not a good question."
Where is that guilt coming from?
It's from the audience. I can hear it. I can hear it from the audience. From the audience. I can hear it from the audience.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's from your own head. You've been saying this type of thing in different audiences before.
I've asked the question before, and
Yes.
the answer always seems to come back.
This is what I'm saying, is that your own mind is troubling you. It creates all this kind of duality to intensify the sense of guilt or shame or embarrassment, to keep you little, so that if you continue to the extremes of those states, you end up having to take therapy for that which doesn't exist but is believed in. Identifying like this, the outcome is like that. I gave the example, it is like trying to help a ghost who is suffering from anorexia. You do everything, you say, "Listen, darling, no, you're quite normal." He says, no, I'm still a bit fat. And after you do all the thing, in the end, final diagnosis, you don't exist. So if you are taking, in fact, this is what is happening. We are living in the idea we have of who we are. And that is a ghostly life, actually. It works because we're all ghosts together. Ghost language, ghost relationship, ghost everything. This is why I say, if you're going to be a ghost, at least be the Holy Ghost. Because if you hold on to the idea or constantly that I am this, this again, and I know that people are making fun. Where is this? It is in your mind, in fact. Could there be somebody making fun? Yes, this is life. We are free. We can make fun. But do you need to suffer from that? Do you need to suffer from that? Not at all. So just depends how much is given. And this is not a blame, because everyone is bitten by the serpent of conditioning. We are coming out of this. Satsang is a coming out of this, is a waking up out of this state of ignorance. So don't waste energy there. This is what you were talking about when you say the mind is buying time. This is how the mind buys time. Pick on something. Look, you see, the audience is thinking, and then you are off the track. Now we are talking back to being person again. We have to sort you out personally first before I can show you that you are presence. Let's cure the person so that it can realize its presence. No, I said, no, I want to kill the person or expose its unreality. Then automatically you find you're not non-existent, but that you are the presence itself. This is the whole thing.
I don't know exactly what to say. I really enjoy listening to you and hearing your talks, and I really find them very enjoyable and very awakening. But I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know what to suggest.
Yes.
I don't know. So, thank you very much.
You have to find out who this I is. This is my question. Find out who this I. Everyone says I. Everybody says I. But you have to find out what is the content of the I when you say I. You have to look under the kilt of the I. What is the I? All say I. All is saying I. It says, God says I am. But the devil also say I am. We say I am. Is there a difference or not? If your I am is referring only to your personality, it's one thing. If when you say I am, it is from the state of presence, it's another vibration. If you say I am and it's the voice of the Absolute with the aid of consciousness, that is another thing. When you say I am, what is the content and substance of I am? This is your introspection. You can look. Go into any cafe, keep quiet, order a chai, sit down and listen. How many times people says I, me, my, mine, I, and listen, what is the content and the identity of I? And you will see that almost always the I is referring to your bodily existence only, your conditioning only. And yet I is consciousness, it's not a person. All is speaking the I language. I did this, I believe this, I practice this, I am that, you are that, she's this, I. Who will look each time? Just follow what is I. And you will see I is arising here as this. What sees that? What sees this? And be present. And it's finished. Will it come again? Yes. And then it's finished. And it's finished. Like a weed that is coming up. You pull him out, little root is left, come again. You pull him out, and after a while, it's frustrated. It can't come anymore. In the way we are doing like this. We have not done that, not blame, it's the way of life. But now you're coming into your season now. Soon, flower and fruit. Isn't it? Because you're here in Satsang. This is now, we're not talking football, we're not talking cricket, we're not talking weddings and funerals. We are talking life, you. we are. What is the simple guidance with which your heart should be happy? Watch the feeling I. It is at the root of language. Can you speak without I? What does I, when you say I, as you're speaking out, the Chinaman, oh, rickshaw madam, no thanks, I'm walking. Just check, just watch. And like that. And this I am walking is just language. It arises in the awareness itself, like that. But another time the I is more hot, Oh no, I don't practice pranayama. I'm doing this thing. No, I don't agree with that. Now the I is more hot, more flavor. I is what here? Again. Then you can check in. You can see I is my identity. Here is identity. What is identity? Bring your attention. You're here. Everything takes you back to here. And each time you're here again, acknowledge yourself. You're in harmony. You're in peace, like that. At a certain point, this exercise will naturally become redundant when it has satisfied its intention. You're the self. The jnani, the sage, is not walking around saying, I am the self, I am the self, I am the self, I am the self, I am the self. All of them is not the self, I am the self. He's not saying, who am I today, who am I, who am I? He's not doing it. Just like you have the name, Susan or George, you're not going around every day going, I'm Susan, I'm Susan, I'm Susan. Somebody called Sharon? No, Susan. You are not remembering, just in case someone might call Janet and you go, hi, sorry, it's not me. You don't have to do that. It is natural for you. So if even the name, which is not naturally coming with the body, because when the body was not deceived, it's not even this body anymore. When the child body was born, it didn't come out with the name Susan on it. God didn't say, listen, I'm sending you Susan. No. Somebody decided, should we call her Sharon? No, Susan. Okay, Susan. And then you took the name. Who took the name, Susan? Who accepted the name? You. What was your name before you accepted the name? Who says, I am Susan? I am is not Susan. I am is consciousness. When do you ever speak as I am? What does I am have to say? It doesn't have its own language. I am doesn't speak spiritual words, not that. It can talk about tomatoes and the directions and the sari or whatever it is. It can speak all these things. But the energy that flows when you are in your true nature, that carries the power and the grace, not the words. Not the words. It's said in the New Testament, that friends of Jesus, Lazarus, a friend, and his two sisters, Mary and Martha, they were close friends of the Lord, they say like that. And then Lazarus was sick, and they sent message to Jesus, the one you love is sick and dying, please come urgently. But he didn't make it there on time, and when he went, by arrived, the sisters saw him and says, Lord, if only you'd come earlier, my brother would not have died, you see. And he says, come, take me to this place. Then he went there, the body already inside the tomb, smelling, few days, hot sun place. He says, what? Lazarus, come out. 3 words. Lazarus, come out. And somehow this body, smelly, flies, somehow. Since then, many people are saying, George, come out. Yvonne, come out. Nothing happening. Same words. Even somebody may be called Lazarus again. Lazarus, come out. Nothing's happening. Why? Same words, not same authority. Not the authority. Not the words, the authority. As you discover again your own original being, where you're one. You're not one discovering yourself, not two. You're one. Then when you speak, whatever you speak about, it is not the words, but the energy. The authority that comes from there. People come to satsang also who don't speak English. Also, I only speak English. And they don't miss any satsangs. I asked one lady, why you spend this whole season in satsang? You don't understand what I'm saying? Why? And then we call interpreter, ask, what. She says, I cannot not be here. My whole life is changed. How? Without language even.
I see that the only difference between you and I is that you speak from reality, and I speak from ideas. I see that. I see that, and but I don't know how to solve the problem. I'm doing my best, but I don't know how to solve the problem. So I'll just continue doing my best.
Don't worry about it. Just keep staying here. Keep staying here.
Thank you, sir.
Just keep staying here. Because when that moment comes, for each one, when it is an auspicious, let's say, all is auspicious, but when that moment comes, if there is to take place a pure seeing, you will not miss your moment. Consciousness will devise a way, it will arrange a way in which something, if it's not myself, it's something, you maybe trip over something, or something will bring it home to you. This is the grace of consciousness. Because not one single being is missed or overlooked by the sight of God.
I pray that that's the case. I pray that that's the case, because I really I know too much, and yet my words are empty. So
Okay.
I know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Today it says here 12:21. For me it doesn't matter, but for you I don't know the state of your bladders or whatever, or you have to go to lunch or something like this. Maybe I take just one more question, one person, and then we can call it that for today. You asked before, so maybe you come now and. And maybe if somebody is ready to sing a song or something, after I can be preparing.
Namaste, Mooji. First, I just want to thank you for all your hundreds of satsangs. Big blessing for all the seekers all over the world. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you.
I've been a seeker. They've been active seeking for many years, but I have been practicing being the awareness, being the self. The practice has been...
Can you hear at the back?
Yeah, closer. Okay. The practice has been very sporadic, but whenever I've done intense practice, it's always rewarded me with certain experiences. There's been bliss, there's been undeniable sense of an awakening experience. But this has been sporadic, and it has maybe lasted 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it goes away. Last 2 days, I had this sudden, very strong insight that the sense of awareness and experience is just one. It's just the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. And earlier, I think my mind understood that I'm the awareness and then there's experiencing. So there was a sort of a duality there. But that sort of just disappeared 2 days back. And it's the most natural seeing that's happening. To say I'm seeing is redundant. It doesn't make sense.
But experiences are changeful, no?
It's got this very ancient yet very fresh feel to it. It's new all the time. The colors are more vibrant. There's just peace. It's amazing, and I don't have to make an effort to be there. So it's amazing, and I think my question is redundant, but I needed clarifications with 2 things. One was because this seems like such an ordinary seeing. Is it the real seeing? Is it? Because it seems so ordinary in one sense. But when masters say that this is it, this is the truth. And Ramana said, the self is always realized. It never made sense. Now it suddenly makes sense because there's this, it's just there. And it seems very ordinary in one sense. That's where I guess the mind makes us doubt. And the second clarification is, earlier also, without this experience, there were, without this sense, there was also other experiences, right? So is there a spectrum of seeing from the most gross 3-dimensional world to the other extreme where the masters have said that nothing ever existed and the universe has never existed? So is there a spectrum of these seeing? Or
Well, what happens is the mind is making a journey through subtle stages of seeing until it is again united with the source seeing. When the masters say nothing has ever happened, many people feel, my God, what are they speaking about? They must be on another completely different, but they're here also, like they say. Nothing has ever happened. We have to understand also what constitutes a happening. That happening also is made up, it's phenomenal, meaning that it's a selected interpretation of things, and that all movements, they are movements that they are taking place like this. What constitutes a happening is something that takes place in the mind, in that respect. So for them, one man who is believing, I am this person, I live in this place, it's very, very quiet village, nothing happens around here. But in the last month, we had a festival and everything was happening in my town. But another one says, even after this, still nothing happened. A whole circus of thousands of people came to my sleepy town. And after that, there was a big cleanup campaign after that. So they say. What is my experience? No big deal. Nothing happened. For another person, it's changed our lives. From now on, we'll be known as not anymore Sleepy Village. We'll be called Switched On Village, whatever. For one, nothing happened. Which one is true? Each according to their outlook. The sage tell you nothing has happened. And in fact, for most of us, nothing happened, except the things which are our favorite hotspots. When the mind presses those buttons, these things seem to really happen, whatever it is that's personal. So it's usually from the personal perspective that things seems to happen. From the universal place of seeing, nothing to report. Superficially, The sage may have to go and do his things, pick up his letter from the post office and so on. They say, what did you do this morning, Swamiji? I went to pick up the letter from so and so and so. Oh, so your day has been full. I cannot say that. You're busy this morning. You can say if you want. But what is your experience, Swamiji? Well, nothing. But how can you say nothing? I saw you this morning carrying all these letters and sitting inside this place sweating. And but there's nothing at all. Nothing is happening. Nothing impacts upon my being to such an extent I can say, oh, really, this really happened. Save. Nothing happened. So this is why I say, we are there in life moving and everything is moving about. View the life from this place, but don't log in. What does it mean? Enter. You're in. But even now, at a certain point, if I say enter, don't enter, it will not mean anything for you. You have said now, yourself, I'm happy to hear you say that now. That in one way it seems so ordinary. I say, yeah, it's neither ordinary nor extraordinary. It is just natural state now. But before, because the mind makes such a circus of it, oh, it is there in this cave, we have to sit and strip down to the chassis and meditate, or don't eat. And that's also the consciousness playing like that. But at a certain point, you'll be ready just for this. You're in your natural being. You're not full of 1,000 opinions. You're not exhausted or overwhelmed by people. These things are just ideas. You will see that for yourself now. You have seen that. So, then your question, is there layers of seeing? Because for each one, something, is very, very powerful. And then ultimately, a sage is saying, well, nothing has ever happened. Is there degrees of seeing? Yes, according to the intensity of identification. As identification personally is draining away, less and less to report. Does it mean that less and less to enjoy? In fact, all joy comes from the self. We're thinking the joy comes from the mind, that if you give up the mind, you give up your joy. No, you give up your delusion. Joy is the nature of the self. But it's not addicted to joy any more than the fragrance or the flower is addicted to its scent. The flower is not addicted to its fragrance. They are one. Yeah, you can say like that. And I don't want to make it more mystical, more simple. Like this is good. Then you may say, my gosh, I mean, all these efforts, all these things I did for this, you had to do them. You had to do them until you came to that, and everything contributes to your seeing now. You may think, oh, I didn't have to do all this. Yeah, you did. Your river of life had to flow like this. It brought you to this point. Now you come to a place of clear seeing, which is not momentary. It's not today was a good day, but yesterday was so terrible, like, no. The self does not have bad days or good days. Perfect. Perfect. Peaks of joy can happen. Sometimes joy manifests phenomenally as very high state, where you are tingling with joy. You cannot, too much joy. Too much joy. You say, too much joy, too much. Too much peace, too much peace. Too much love, too much. Take it. But if it doesn't manifest like this, also, there is the unbroken stream of unchanging awareness is there. And that is sufficient unto itself. It is beyond need, beyond judgment. You are here to discover that. You are here to discover that. I feel this is what you can say, if you can put like that. This is what the world needs. I don't like to say things, but yes, if it needs anything, this. Beings who are awake to the truth. I was playfully saying that all the governments should sponsor so many people each month to go to Satsang. The big nations should sponsor more. Go to Satsang, because that will be really helping our nation. More peaceful people. We don't want more guns. No. We want now more peaceful people. No. Very great.
Thank you, Mooji. May I just come? Can I just?
You can come. Very great. Wonderful, wonderful. Good. Very happy, very great. Very great. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, very nice.
The same question, you may want to ignore that.
Okay, very good. Someone will come and sing a song. Oh, you ready? Oh, good. Yes, I am happy. I'm happy, always happy to be in this community of being, to share, talk about these things, and feel somehow that they are being assimilated somehow, internally.
Savitu Varenia Bargo Devasya Dimai Dio Yona Prachodaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitu Varenya Bargo Devasya Dimai Dio Yona Prachodaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitu Varenya Bargo Devasya Dimai Dio Yona Prachodaya devasya dimahi Dio yona prachodaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsavitu Varenyam Bargo devasya dimahi Dio yona prachodaya